I'm me. Hip hip hooray! Oh, so it feels good to make this video because I'm learning languaging and understanding better the experience I'm having as a human, and I thought I would share with you. I've really liked and gravitated to the idea of self-realization, and that's really the thing that I finally got to, was that I figured out when I was me, when I wasn't entangled in all these stories that were told and the story that I told to try to fit in, to be part of, the collective and these kind of things. And I'm just giddy to actually do this video. So self-realization, it's really when we figure out who we are. And there were times when I just believed that I was done, and when I got to that point, I was like, okay, I'm not doing the difficult task of trying to be anything, and I was trying to share with the world, and people are looking at me like, what are you talking about? We don't understand what's going on, and I understand better now. And it kind of goes like this. There was the I before, and that I was the one, the ego I, we could call it, was the one that was constantly trying to come up with stories of how I fit in, who I was, and that was based on virtues and morals and philosophy and psychology and all of these different things. And once I was able to get rid of enough noise in my mind, I had the event that just was like, whoosh, I don't have to take this stuff seriously. Like, this stuff is ridiculous. It was very liberating, but there was this other point, is I didn't really understand how to operate in the world. I didn't have a mentor telling me, giving me advice, like, once you figure out who you are, what's life like? And I'm just going to share you my experience of that if it's helpful to you. And for a while, it was like I denied the I. So it's me. I'm like doing the it's me thing, and I'm free of all the attachment of the I. And what I've come to understand is that we come back into this world. We understand that we're having a human experience. So we are human, having a spirit experience. We are humans having a spirit experience. So that means I'm still human. So what does a daily life look like? And what it seems to me is going on is that you identify the I. It's like, I think of it as like the black suit that Spider-Man had on. That's the ego. And I was picking at it from all different directions, trying to rip this thing off. And then there was one day where I found it. And in my thoughts, I thought, oh, I got the suit ripped off. That's when I was the I. And when the I was gone, that was when it was me. And what I'm recognizing is that doesn't seem to be the case. That there's still stuff of my history and things that I'm bringing into the now that are still adjusting, and I like to use the term calibrating to this new reality. And so the way I see it now is that I found the I, that was the black suit, the ego, found it, grabbed it, pulled it off, and thought I had it completely off. But that's not the way it works. We return to, or what it seems is I'm returning to the world as this human, James Sharp, like whatever this is. And in order to interact, I need to be an I. I am James Sharp. I am a human. I'm a male. I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. I'm not attached to all of these things as a way of, again, going back to the old I. these are just forms that I am. It's not some kind of mental construct of who I am. And so what it feels like is we return back into the I in order to interact in this realm. And what ends up happening is you are I realized, meaning that when I get into, let's say, pointy things in life, like say in relationships, a really good example, I can lose myself again. And I kind of have this idea that the present is here. When I've got a smile on my face and I'm just experiencing and observing, that's like when I'm just so present. And then there's these times where I drift off in my mind, and then the mind, so I feel like I'm going away like this, and then I'm drifting off into the mind. Then I put a little smile on it. I'm back into the present, and then I'll drift off, and then I get back into the present. And it's very cool because when we get into these kerfluffles, I like to call them, with the discord of the contrast that's in this reality, we can get caught up in that again. And I find myself getting caught up in that. But that's when I know, like, that I'm practiced enough that I know that I'm back here. And when I'm back here, meaning that I'm not in the present moment, then I'm working on mind stories and I'm trying to figure it out. And so when I get into kerfluffles, it's my practice to be back into the present. And when I'm in the present, what this does is it opens up the perspective. It opens up perspective so that I can see things from many different perspectives. So if I'm having an interaction with somebody and they're saying, "You're doing this," so here was something that happened the other day with communication. My partner said to me, "I didn't really like the tone that you used when this was happening." And then it was like, okay, back into the present with this kerfluffle. Like I feel like I shook something in the outside world, back into the present. And I considered and I went, oh, you're right. Like my tone was not good communication. And then it was just immediate adjustment. And I'm back into the present moment. I'm back into enjoying and observing and being part of life. So when we become self-realized, the adventure continues on. It just continues on from a bigger perspective, consciousness, not like this esoteric understanding of what consciousness is, but like literally being conscious of something is being able to see it. When I was in my mind stories of who I thought I was, it was like I had these blocks in front of me that couldn't see other people's perspectives, what was going on for them. I couldn't listen to hear really because I was fighting for what I wanted, and what I thought was important, what I believed in. And so now it's as if beliefs are not, I don't have to believe in anything. Like I don't have to hold on to beliefs. I can adjust to how the world is happening for us. And then I'm interacting with it. And the nice thing is that now that I realize this, that there isn't this, I'm not there yet. I'm not spiritually liberated, and beating up on myself. What my experience has been to feeling like I had to try. If I go back to the other I, like the ego I, back then I was trying to be something. And in this case, I'm just me, like interacting with this world in whatever way that I'm going to interact with this world. So I'm not trying to find virtue. I'm not trying to adjust myself by clinging on to any kind of belief, like I need to believe in this. And if you notice that's what the popular human does in the paradigm A, is it's just a clinging to beliefs because people need to have those beliefs to identify them, to make them feel better about themselves, to make themselves their ego selves. And so I imagine that what I'm sharing in this Paradigm B thing is one simple premise, which is seriosity, letting go of the seriousness of this world and the seriousness that the ego takes this world, because that's why people cling on to beliefs, is we get so stuck up in believing to things. We'll hang on with everything we know because we know that this is the way the world needs to be. And that's the attitude. So what B represents is simply saying, I can get rid of seriosity. And what I mean by seriosity is managing life from stress, managing life from judgment. And we know it's judgment because it's stressful and anxiety ridden. That doesn't mean that I don't have a sense of importance when it comes to certain things. So when it comes to making decisions around my family, like there's a higher importance, but it just is. It isn't about telling a story that family's everything and you have to do this. And that's us trying to control the world. That's us like serious. We need to get everybody on board and everybody needs to see what's going on. And what I found is that when we don't have this seriousness, we can actually manage these relationships because we're not attacking other people's belief systems. I can bring myself back into the present moment, be heart-centered, and then see it from everybody's point of view. And then what comes through me is beautiful ways to interact with people instead of just going at them and saying, you need to change the way you believe, you're just ego and blah, 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 blah. Because if you do that stuff, take it from me, that doesn't work. So I just wanted to share that. And you might even notice that some of my videos have different tones. And it's because I'm experiencing different things in this realm. And that's good. And I'm embracing all of the things of being human because I'm a human having a spirit experience. And we're all within eternal love. So I'm well within eternal love. And what it seems is this calibration that's happening is just stripping, that black suit is just still stripping itself away. More realization comes in, more heart, more beauty, more love, all the juicy stuff that it is to be human. Not this fight for our belief systems in these kind of things and against these things. It's art, it's creativity, it's beauty, it's love, it's sincerity, it's joy, it's happiness, it's silliness, it's ridiculousness. So, seriousness, seriosity, and the difference between that and importance. And importance without having to work to figure out what's important. That it's just a value system that's like on automatic pilot. And then the pressure's off. And if you're in those kind of kerfluffles, those pieces of kerfluffle, it's like, where are you trying to make choices from? Are you trying to make choices back here in the ego, in the mind, or are you trying to make it here in the present moment? And wherever you're starting, I would say the first thing to do is observe your thoughts, observe the I, and someday you'll be you, and then you get to say, it's me, I'm so me. And it's lovely, and it's beautiful, and I'm excited to have this experience with you that is watching this.